Hey, what's up, everybody? Chicago Goonie here, bringing you another Arsenal talk. In this Arsenal talk, I'll just be covering the Middlesbrough game, the FA Cup tie, and that's about it, pretty much. It was just comfortable. I think if anybody really had any type of concerns going into the game, I think you looked way too much into the Man City game, which Middlesbrough won. Uh, One thing that was coming out like after that Man City game is, well, they did it was pretty stupid by the Man City people, whoever was in charge of this, but they had a friendly in Dubai, and coming back from Dubai, their plane was delayed. They didn't get back in uh, to England, to Manchester, until um, 6 hours or 7 hours before their kickoff against Middlesbrough in that FA Cup tie. Um, Obviously, if you fly a good distance. There's going to be some jet lag, some tiredness, and that's what happened to Man City against Middlesbrough. They didn't look good at all in that game, and Middlesbrough, took advantage of that, and they played well. I'm not going to take anything away from them, from beating Man City, but going into this game, it just seemed like a lot, like from the talk from the players, that they were really looking to get out on the front foot and just impose themselves into the game and be fast and have an up tempo, and that's exactly what they did. Of course, it took, I think first goal was in the 27th minute, second goal was in the 29th minute, both by Giroud. But even before that, we were just, we were attacking. I love the lineup coming into the game. Most notably, they had Ozil at the number 10, and then they had Santi playing right behind him in that CM spot. When we play against teams like this who are going to park the bus and they're going to try to get us on the break and on the counter as much as possible, as much as they possibly can. Um, I'd love to see a lineup like this where you have an Ozil or even a Santi, where they can just boss the midfield. They can take on defenders. Their ball control, their passing is top notch. And when you go against when you go against sides like this, um, you want that. You want two guys in the midfield who can really just impose their will, and just do whatever pretty much they want to during a game. Because you kind of need those guys who have that kind of ball control and that great passing ability, like Santi and Ozil have, to really just break down a team who's going to park the bus. The only other thing I would say against teams who park the bus is, two strikers up top. But in this game, you always saw either Sanchez or even Welbeck inside the box helping out Giroud as much as possible. And we had our chances. Even before that first goal, we had plenty of chances throughout the whole entire game. The first goal, of course, Olivier Giroud got a cross from Kieran Gibbs, who played well today. He had a few good crosses today. Looks like he was really, busting his ass today, trying to basically prove to Arsene that he deserves a little bit more time. But of course, with the current form of Nacho Monreal, it's going to be kind of tough, because that back line is starting to form pretty well, coming in, coming into this late in the season. And when you get into this late in the season, you don't want to kind of screw up that kind of partnerships between that back line of Bellerin and whether it's and then Koscielny and then Monreal. They seem they have a decent understanding of themselves and what they need to accomplish during a game. But yeah, that cross, it was perfect. Giroud made a cutting run near post. That was basically a striker's goal. He had a great angle, had a great opportunity. It was one touch. Goalkeeper could not, you know, he just couldn't get to it. He didn't, his reaction time, he just couldn't react to the ball, just because it was one touch. And like I said, it's a striker's ball. The second goal, Maybe someone can help me out on this one because I'm trying to find the stats, but a lot of different places do not have the stats for the game. Um, but it looked like Alexis Sanchez took the corner. Of course, I watched it on a stream because here in U.S. they put the game on Fox Sports or Fox Soccer Plus, which no one fucking buys that channel. I don't know why they have that channel as a subscription only. It pisses me off. I might get in a little bit of that later about Fox after I'm done doing a review here, but at least for the American people who actually listen to this. But it looked like Alexis Sanchez took the corner, and Middlesbrough just pretty much fell asleep. We took the corner quick. Uh, Giroud again a cutting run. The angle on that thing, I mean, it was a perfect ball in. It looked like Alexis Sanchez knew exactly what Olivier Giroud was going to do. Again, that's just good recognition by Alexis Sanchez, and it's good recognition by Olivier Giroud to catch Middlesbrough, off their line and just catch them off guard. They were trying to complain after the goal, but the referee was set up, everybody was set up, and Middlesbrough just fell asleep. Of course, you expect something like that from from a lower side who's just not used to the speed of the game. But that finish by Olivier Giroud on that angle, that was top class. I mean, that was an excellent finish by Olivier Giroud on that second goal. Yeah, the first goal was good, but that second goal, I mean, if you really look back on it, if they do a wide angle or a wide screen on it behind the net, the angle, the finish, the touch, I mean, it was perfect. There was not, there's not much more you could say from the cross to the finish. It was a perfect sequence, and like I said, go back and check out that replay if you can. If there's highlights on YouTube or whatever. That was, I mean, it's a difficult angle of where he took that ball and how he finished that ball. It was just, it's one of the best goals that I've seen from Arsenal, at least, just because of the angle, the difficulty of the angle and the finish is just top class. So going on to the rest of the game, we had plenty of chances. It just seemed like after those two goals, all of a sudden our finishing went to shit. No one could finish. Theo had one at the end of the game. I think Welbeck had an opportunity. Santi had a couple opportunities. Ozil had a couple opportunities. Giroud had, I think he had probably like 4 or 5 shots on goal today. He couldn't finish. Flamini had one outside of the box. Go into that a little bit. Olivier Giroud and then Flamini were two of the shots that were coming from outside the box. I've been screaming for this for ever since Giroud got into the club. He needs to start taking more shots outside the box. When he gets it up top, when he gets it, 21, 20 yards, it's like 2-3 yards out of the box. His left foot is pretty damn good. He has a good finesse shot about him. Obviously, he could probably do a little bit better, but that's what we need to see more of from Arsenal and see more of from Olivier Giroud. I know I was kind of screaming for it in the last couple episodes of Arsenal Talk, but we need to see more of that from him because we need to put the goalkeeper. We need to be dangerous, and we need to make that goalkeeper work. And he did. There was one. Oh God, I think it was on Welbeck or no, it was Sanchez. It was a set piece from Santi. Sanchez got a head on it, and he had to make a fingertip save that he managed to push out of bounds. But the goalkeeper, give him full credit. He made a lot of big boy saves. It's kind of it's kind of shocking that he's the backup goalkeeper for Middlesbrough. He's not the first choice goalkeeper for Middlesbrough, and he made a lot of great saves today. But again, we need to start taking more shots out of, as long as they're on target too. I don't even care if it's almost right on, right at the goalkeeper. As long as we're challenging him, as long as we're, making ourselves dangerous, that we have to give him something to think about. But again, it's good for Giroud to start getting those shots on goal and taking those chances because we need more of that. We need to be more threatening in our final third, and we need to be unpredictable. Uh, Instead of just doing one touch, trying to make that beautiful goal every single time. You know, ugly is fine. As all goals at the end of the day are goals. Regardless of how you get them, whether they're outside the box, inside the box, one touch, ugly. I don't care. As long as we get into the back of the net, as long as we start challenging the goalkeeper a lot more, uh, going into the rest of the season and into the future. Because yeah, beautiful goals are great. They're you can watch them over and over and over again. But again, ugly goals count the same. And we need to start doing more of that. But again, it was kind of our finishing at from the 29th minute on was it was somewhat of a concern. Middlesbrough wasn't going to do anything. I think Szczesny had one save all day, one one chance. Middlesbrough had basically one chance, maybe two. But other than that, the back line didn't have much to do. Gabriel, as far as his play, the one thing I will point out is his yellow card. That was a great foul by him. Middlesbrough was pretty much on the counterattack, on the break, and Gabriel, even though he can't speak English or whatever, whatever his deficiency is, he noticed it. He was aware of it. He was aware of their position, and he basically just blocked out the attacker who had the ball and took the yellow card. It was a professional foul. It was a foul that when you notice something like that, when they're on the break, when they're on the counter, and he's smart enough to be aware of that and to say, you know what, I'm just going to take a foul here, whether or not I get a yellow, I don't care. I'm going to break this up, and that's exactly what he did. And they had a set piece after that came to nothing. It was just smart. It was just smart by him. So, it looked like even his passing on the ball skills, he looked like he had some pace to him. Everything that Arsenal's kind of scouted him for, everything that the scouts said about him, especially in the newspaper. Yeah, as long as we can get him some English lessons, I guess you can say, get him that he can understand a few words here and there, because that might be like the future. At least I hope it's kind of like a future pairing between him and Koscielny, because they offer pace, they offer the ability, good in the air, good in interceptions, good at awareness, obviously, both of them. And if we can have those two type of guys in the back line, with Coughlin or whoever's going to be up, after the summer, who knows what's going to happen in the summer as far as the transfer window goes. If we're going to go out there and spend some big money on a world-class DM or not. But with Gabriel, Koscielny, Coughlin in front of them, of course, whoever the fullbacks are, that's pretty damn good. That's something that I will love to see in the future, because at some point we have to move on from Per, because his lack of pace and his focus this season has not been great. Has that be because of Koscielny wasn't there for a lot of the time? Who knows? But just his focus alone has not been there this entire season, which it needs to be. With a guy with Gabriel coming in, and what he showed today, at least, of course he still has a lot more to prove, obviously, but if that's the future kind of line between Gabriel and Koscielny, I like it, and I want to see more of it, to where maybe we could start pushing Pure back as a backup, or or even like a fourth backup, or someone who can like teach these guys, because at the end of the day, Pure is a great defender. It's just his lack of pace that kills him. He's a smart defender. He's if he had any sort of pace whatsoever to him, he'd be one of the best 10 maybe 15 defenders in the world. But again, his lack of pace just hurts Arsenal. It hurts him, obviously, and we need someone back there with a little bit more pace that can really cover and help Koscielny out, instead of Koscielny having to work so hard and covering for Per and his side of the ball, and having Monreal or Gibbs cover for Koscielny all the time. If we have a definite center half back there who can man his position, who can man his area, it'll just be better for us in the long run. So. Um, let's see what else. Ozil had a good game. He had a couple shots on goal. He had setting up guys left and right. Him and Santi were just bossing that midfield. Middlesbrough just didn't. I'm trying to find stats as well as possession. Some websites are just slow of possession stats and shots on goal and everything like that. But it just seemed like we had maybe like 65-70% possession. We played well defensively. There was times in the games where we just let them have possession to just give us a rest and let us catch our breath. But anytime we lost the ball, we got it right back. We challenged them. Like I said, we let them have possession sometimes. Arsenal does that. A lot of other teams do that as well, where teams let other teams have possession just so they can catch their breath and they can get on with their next attack. And that's what Arsenal did. I thought, Welbeck and Sanchez, well, they had opportunities to score. They did their part. They made runs. They were making themselves a little bit dangerous. But again, it was basically like in the middle of the park. But they left Giroud, or Wenger left Giroud on as much as he possibly could, as long as he possibly could, to try to get him his hat trick. Giroud even looked like he was a little bit mad when he was coming off, but he had so many opportunities. The guys were, Ozil, Santi, Sanchez, Welbeck. I mean, they were all trying to set him up for that hat trick, and it just wasn't coming. And it's better to, we're up 2-0. We're dominating the game. There is no real threat of Middlesbrough scoring. Why leave him out there? We have, it's basically Giroud and Welbeck as our strikers for the rest of the season. I know Sanchez can sub in for that role. Same with Walcott, but give Akpom the opportunity to prove himself. Get Akpom on the pitch. Maybe he can get his first goal, but that just wasn't happening either. I don't know if it looked like Giroud was a little bit mad, but again, he had plenty of opportunities. He had two opportunities on corners. He had a couple opportunities outside the box, and even Colm Chambers and Gibbs were trying to also set him up as much as possible too, trying to get that third goal, but it just wasn't coming. So no point of leaving him out there. And our next game isn't until, I believe, next Saturday or Sunday against Crystal Palace. So get some of the guys out, rest them. They made a good run. They played well. Again, just the finishing was the problem. And especially in the second half, we pretty much did anything we wanted. It was just a comfortable win, and that's exactly what we want. Tomorrow, I believe, is the draw for the next FA Cup draw. There's still three. There's going to be at least a minimum of three lower tier teams coming in for the next round, which is the quarterfinals. The only other team that really looks like they're going to be dangerous, of course, is Liverpool. Manchester United plays tomorrow against Preston North End, and that'd be funny if Preston can actually win that game, because then there'll be a minimum of four lower tier teams playing in the FA Cup. So you almost kind of have that feeling that Liverpool is going to get an easy draw at some point. Steven Gerrard's last season, I guess his birthday is on the FA Cup final, so who knows what's going to happen with that. I'll just leave that there. And that'll probably be it. I was going to talk about, for the American Gooners, there's a little bit of a concern going forward. Fox somehow wiggled their way in to get the World Cup all the way through 2026. Leading up to now, ESPN was doing the World Cup for ages, since I can remember. I think did they do 94? I believe they did all the way back from when I can remember. It was like the 94 World Cup. I know for sure they did the 98. I'm pretty sure they did in 94 as well. Yeah, Fox came in. They pretty much wined and dined the people from FIFA, and somehow they got the the World Cup from between now. They're doing the Women's World Cup this summer, and then they're gonna get the World Cups all the way through 2026. Now ESPN, they really stepped up their game couple in the last couple World Cups, from South America, no, South African, South Africa World Cup, and then of course the Brazil World Cup, and they did well. Broadcasting, they did well with all their other side shows that they did when games weren't played. For the whole month, it felt like an NFL type of broadcasting throughout the entire week, throughout the entire process of the World Cup in Brazil. They had, ex players on there, like ex world class players coming in, from different nations. I know, they had Brazil, Argentina, Netherlands. Of course, Alexi Lawless was there as well. He switched over, which he must have knew something. Alexi Lawless must have known something going in for him to switch from ESPN to Fox. He must have had some type of inside information from Fox themselves that they were going to get the World Cup, that they were whining and dining the FIFA people to get the World Cup for. It's going to be 2018, 2022, and then the 2026 World Cups. And it's a concern because Fox just does not do well. Their pre and post match shows are awful. Their halftime shows are awful. Their during the week shows are awful. It just seems like a ragtag generic setup. The people they have, Eric Wananda, he's fucking awful. I can't stand him. If they continue on with him, especially if he does more commentating, I mean, I can't stand the guy. He seems like he talks about himself more than anything else. It's just annoying. The knowledge that they try to drop on people is ridiculous. It's a real concern. It's a real concern of how Fox even got it, for one, and number two, of what they're going to do with it. They're going to get the Bundesliga season starting next season as well. I think it's going to be more like a beIN Sports type of setup, to where you have both commentators sitting in front of a TV watching what you're watching pretty much, and then commentating on the action, which is, it's okay, but at the same time you don't get to see everything of what's going on. You don't get to see what the managers are doing, or how they're reacting sometimes, and what the back line is doing sometimes, because they're so focused on each of the team's final third. Sometimes some guys go out of focus, so you don't see everything that's going on. Sometimes you don't get to see who's warming up, or who's going to come in, who's not going to come in. Right now I just don't have any faith, because the way they're handling even the FA Cup right now is a joke. They're putting it on different channels they're putting on. Today's game was on Fox Soccer Plus, which no one subscribes to. They put it on that channel to trick people into buying that channel, to think that, oh, okay, they're going to show my team that I support. They did that yesterday with the Liverpool game, and they did it today with the Arsenal game. You can count on one hand, probably even on like 2 or 3 fingers, of how many times your team, especially Arsenal, is on that channel. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they do that they try to con people into buying that channel, even for one day. I don't know if it's $10. I don't know if it's $20. I really don't know what the price is on the subscription, but it's ridiculous that they do that. It's a shit show. On top of that, and it's a shit show of how they're covering the FA Cup. They had today or yesterday for the Liverpool game, they had NASCAR on, practicing a practice session for NASCAR, making left turns. Other than hillbillies, who gives a shit about NASCAR? Today, they had a fucking dog competition on Fox today. Covering a dog competition in New York. instead of putting Arsenal on. I wonder, if they really put Arsenal on Fox Sports 1 and then they did the dog show at the top of that, I guarantee Arsenal would have got a better rating. But they rather put on their main channel a fucking dog competition rather than an actual sport in football. And one of the biggest clubs in the world who has a huge fan base, over 100 million strong, and it's ever growing here in the United States. And they put it on, Fox Soccer Plus instead of the main channel. Just that's the type of shit that I'm worried about going into the next World Cup. Why not put Arsenal on their main channel? Why not put, on the regular, Fox channel, national channel? Why not put it on there? Why not put Liverpool on there to get more exposure? That Fox is taking over a lot of stuff coming up, so it's a real concern going forward. Let me know your views, kind of like on that of what you think if you're from America and you think of what do you think about that? It's a concern for myself going forward because I just have no faith in them whatsoever that they can do a competent broadcast without fucking it up and putting it on the right channels as well. But yeah, that'll probably be it for right now. Of course, we got Crystal Palace next week. Hopefully, I believe it's Crystal Palace away because Crystal Palace was our opening game this year. So Crystal Palace away. It's a London derby. It's close to home, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. No real travel issues, obviously. So looking forward to that game. 3 points. Like I said, 3 points or failure. That's what it is for the rest of the season. And our fixture looks, it looks great right now, and can't wait. Hopefully they just keep on pressing on. We're 1 point off of Southampton, and I believe 2 points off of Manchester United. So the opportunity is going to be there. I believe Southampton. Who does Tottenham play Southampton? I think it's either Tottenham and Southampton or it's Tottenham and Manchester United, one of the two. But coming up, they're showing it during the BT Sport broadcast today. But yeah, that'll be it. Leave your comments down below what you thought of the game and who you think we might get into the next round, and can we press on? Can we make it to Wembley again for the second straight year? Hopefully, because every Arsenal fan loves going to Wembley. We love singing about it. We love it's time. I think we are the best team left in the FA Cup. It should be ours to lose. It is ours to lose, to be honest with you. So yeah, that'll be it. Later.